I'm originally from Israel. For the past couple of decades, I've been working in Hong Kong. At the moment, I'm acting dean of the Faculty of Social Science and the head and professor of the Department of Education Studies. Well, my professional background is education. I end up in the leisure field because in the first semester of my first bachelor degree in Israel in education, I joined a course on leisure, and the teacher was the late Professor Barlev, who I really adore. And I got hooked on that area because I thought, wow, that's a new area that we need to explore. And from that moment on, consistently, for all those years and years in Israel and in Hong Kong, I keep on with this task of leisure, and especially leisure education.
Right.
Okay, so apart from sitting on the beach and reading a leisure book or writing, I like to read. I do swimming, traveling with family. I like also dancing, and quite a number of those activities keeps me going for the sake of just being happy.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the leisure experience, several things that I do appreciate on leisure is the creation and the family. So I like to be in nature, and I remember two major things. For example, going to the Red Sea and swimming with the dolphin, and touching the dolphin female that came over and allowed me to touch her even more. I was that time a young mother myself. And just recently going to a very nice island after taking a flight in a van and a boat to arrive to a place where you can actually see where the big turtle laid an egg, and watching a new creation in life. So this is a very touching moment. Yeah.
I can.
Well, I think the good thing about it is the leisure started in the west and moved slowly but quite nicely to the east. So actually, I'm quite. It's really great to be living now in Hong Kong, where the notion and the awareness of leisure is growing up. So there are more facilities for leisure. People go out more to outdoor activities, and they are very much engaged in leisure. And also the education system has been moving to a whole person development. So I think it's a great time now in this region, the Asia Pacific, to really insert some elements of leisure education, because the system is more open. It's not like going back to basics, but on the other hand, it's really preparation for life. Well, I think if I talk about Hong Kong, then we can say that Hong Kong the expense of living in Hong Kong is the highest in the world, and people are really, they need to make the living. So if you say work hard and play hard, it's even less than what it is actually at the moment. At the moment, the issue is that people, they do have leisure, but they do work around the clock also to make their living. And even though there's a lot of facilities and things like that, the mind of the people is how to really make more money so they can really buy their own flat and things like that. So there is the notion of, yes, we need leisure, but you don't call leisure by its name. Okay, in Hebrew, leisure is pnai, which is the leftover time, whatever. And of course, in Chinese is xiu xian, which is a free time as well.
Great.
Okay, I think the opportunity of leisure is, as I said, the context, the Asia Pacific context allows more places to penetrate leisure in certain areas. this is a big opportunity, especially in education. I think the system is open. People look at education as a learning experience and not just sitting in a class. And that's something fantastic that we can really infuse leisure education through the education system. And this is good. The challenge is how to raise the awareness of people to leisure and actually to allow them to really make use of leisure while they really need to care for their own living. This is the challenge at the moment, because for some people it may be a contradicting stuff. If I enjoy my leisure, then I don't work enough, then I cannot make my living, and so on and so forth. This is one. And the other one is that leisure is still an abstract term. And it's like an umbrella that encompasses a lot of things. You can say travel, tourism, recreation, everything. Other things are more tangible, and leisure is more abstract. And abstract things by nature, you cannot touch them, so you cannot resonate with them. And if you cannot resonate with them, they become like something which is untouchable in a way. So I think one way is to infuse an element of leisure into different aspects, professions and discipline, and by that to contribute to the well-being of people all around, not just in a specific area. Well, I think definitely we need to know more about the information age, information technology age, because we cannot deny that today a lot of leisure is done virtually. People are spending hours using computers, using applications and so on and so forth. So we cannot avoid it. We need to go with this stream and perhaps develop some applications that would enhance people's involvement in leisure. And the challenge is that it will be like passive leisure. So we need to use the technology in order to encourage people to be more active in their leisure. And this is something that needs a little bit of a brainstorming, how to do it in a better way. This is something I think that needs to be tackled. I want to be optimistic, but again, I think leisure studies as it is, people can research studies, can research leisure, but then the market for that, or the readers, or whatever, will not be as much as more tangible things, such as tourism and travel and things like that. So maybe leisure needs to be embedded in several things without losing the essence of importance of leisure for quality of life and for wellness. So leisure may become as means for achieving other things. And therefore I think education through leisure could be a way, education in leisure could be a way, and education for leisure, this will be the area. Because at standalone it will be quite difficult to sell it as a product. Well, I think World Leisure Organization is highly facilitated by people that care about leisure and regard it as an important aim for a better life. And I think being affiliated with such a world highly recognized association gives the recognition that leisure needs to be given. And it's something which is universal and global, and the fact that it's not just one country or one region, but rather a collection and collaborating in between countries and not within countries makes it more powerful. You know, the world has a lot of countries fighting with each other and whatever. I think leisure can be a place where peace can start. Because we bring people from different nations, different contexts, to talk about something and to deal with something and to bring changes about something and hopefully improvement in an area which is great. It talks about free time, enjoyment, self-actualization, autonomy. That's where people can start to talk very nicely, not lack of competitiveness, but rather cooperation. So let's start with that. Well, I think World Vision is with the high facilitation of our secretariat in Bilbao is doing a great job because we are not just selling one product, but we open to different areas. For example, the recent initiative of interest groups where people can come together is serving a platform for people to bring their own input rather than top-down, but rather bottom-up approach, which is empowering to share, to learn and to grow together. I think this is something that should be continued. And of course the Center for Excellence, because we do have a duty to fertilize and to nurture the young generation and ensure that there will be a continuation. So I think this is really something that we need to do. And of course, through knowledge transfer, through reaching out and through involving communities in places where not everybody can reach and where they don't have that much means for that. I think equal opportunity is one of the things that we need to respect, and leisure could create this context. And if we facilitate the leisure context, then more people can have better life. Okay, how shall I do it? By reaching out to them, and I'm not going to preach. My idea is heightening awareness. I'm not going to give them a formula, but my aim is to heighten awareness to this area, whatever you call it, in whatever language, to heighten the awareness that there is this part of their life which they may be practicing already, but they are not aware of. I believe that heightening someone's awareness is opening the door for choices, and the choices will have the freedom of choice, the enjoyment entailing that, and so on and so forth. So our role is to advocate and to heighten awareness to this important area. The rest will go with the flow. I'm very hopeful.